Hello everyone. It is Thursday, June 16th, 2022. Of course, yesterday was New Comic Book Day, which means right now it's time for the new comic book video. Not a huge week for books, but some nice titles nevertheless. And then some of the titles had multiple covers, so there's a few extra books in there just to kind of show off. And then last week I asked the question if people were interested in seeing the pre-code Golden Age books that I had graded over the last few months. And the overwhelming answer was yes, please. So I'm going to show those. I've picked up some new Bronze Age books that I'm kind of happy with. And then I had a question from a viewer as it relates to when buying a comic book collection, what my thought process is. I've gone over that a few times, but we'll go over it again. And then a couple of books that have started to get really hot that we talked about on this channel before they were released. And now, it's starting to get a little bit of heat. So we'll talk about those two books as well. So first things first, new comic books. First one up, cover purchase only, Lady Death. This is called Sacrificial Annihilation. This cover here, really, really nice. Again, like we discussed, it is okay to buy books based off of the cover. Some of the mainstream stuff, Captain America, Sentinel of Liberty. I only picked up the Scotty Young cover because I thought it was pretty funny, so there was that one there. What If Miles Morales Became Thor, number 4. There's that right there. I would take him a little bit more serious if he didn't have the Air Jordans on right there, but it is what it is. Spider-Gwen, Gwenverse. This is number 3. This was selling pretty good right here. People were really snatching this one up here. Right here, Iron Fist number 4, Enter Immortal Weapons. Really cool cover there on that. This was selling pretty good too. I don't know if it's supposed to be, because I'm not reading Iron Fist, but someone was like, pick up a couple copies and just put it away because it might do something down the road. So maybe something for a future sale at a comic show. And then that was one cover, and then another cover right here. If there's a little bit of glare on the video, I apologize. Moon Knight, Black, White, and Blood, number 2. This was the B cover. I thought I picked up another one. I guess I grabbed the wrong book. There's also a cover that I know I have somewhere, but I forgot to grab it. Next up, West of Sundown. This is number 3 from Vault Comics. This is kind of a old movie poster homage, probably of one of the old spaghetti westerns or one of the, grindhouse type westerns. So there's that one right there. And being a big western fan, especially of the TV show Gunsmoke, which my wife and I watch an episode or two every night. This just kind of reminded me of that. This was cover A, the old showdown, although Vampire doesn't appear to have any type of a gun, so might be short-lived. Grimm number 2, cover A. It's another cover here. Cover here. Again, I apologize for the glare. And then this cover here. This is a foil cover, as you can see. Hard to see, but still, nevertheless, see if we can get in there a little bit. Kind of a cool looking cover with the skeletons. And this was a 1 in 10 that I got really cheap, so I picked that up. Really cool cover on that right there. If you're reading this book, I'd like to know what your thoughts are on it. I read issue number 2, and I still think it's a really good read. So the first 2 issues have been really good, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit as well. King Spawn number 11, cover purchase right there. I just like that cover with the cross, the big cape. So I was all over that. And then this is Faithless number 3, or Faithless 3, issue number 5. This was the erotic cover. I'll show that real quick. And then there was that. That is what we picked up as it relates to new comics. I did pick up some more Bronze Age books. I was able to get some Bronze Age books at a really good price. Let me try to adjust this a little bit. And we'll jump right into those. Again, these books don't have a ton of value. These aren't expensive books. These are just really cool books Nice covers, and you know, it kind of falls under a certain genre. And then you get them at a cheap price. We've talked about that, just stocking up on cheaper books, because Bronze Age, our books are getting harder and harder to find, especially those in the 15 to 20 cent range. Even the quarter cover prices are getting harder and harder to find. So if I get an opportunity to pick up a couple at a good price, I'm just going to stack them up. First one, Return of Tarzan, number 20. Bondage cover right here. This is issue number 219. 219, bondage cover right there. That's why I picked this up. Again, none of these are, there's a couple that are decent grades, but most of them, for the most part, in the 4 to 5.56 range. Next up, Weird Mystery Tales, number 14. I think I showed this one already. Big bat chasing that girl. Love that right there. And that ghoul, I think I did show this one, but you know what? I'm showing it again. Next up, Weird Mystery Tales, number 15. Just love this cover. Indian girl right there. Got some creatures trying to break in, probably a werewolf or something like that. So I grabbed this one here. Really cool. Again, nothing real high. I think this was like a, you know, fine minus by 5, but still a cool book. This is another one. This is Weird Mystery Tales, number 18. Kind of a knockoff on Godzilla. They gave him a couple extra arms, but the facial features are pretty much the same as Godzilla. So I wanted to get that because I am a Godzilla fan. This one was picked up strictly because it is a Bernie Wrightson cover. This is Weird Mystery Tales, number 21. And you can tell Bernie Wrightson right there. He uses that type of a figure for a lot of his, you know, art from the 70s. And so there's that right there. And then you got the little witch right there, which I like, if I can get the witch to focus up. So there's that there. Anything Bernie Wrightson, I'm going to snap up. We love Bernie on this channel. Next up, Marvel Team Up number 12. This is a lower grade, 3.5, but it is a Werewolf by Night Spider-Man cover. Really, really nice there. Next up, Marvel Team Up number 24. This is Spider-Man and Brother Voodoo. I do like the Brother Voodoo character right there, so when I saw that, I wanted to pick that up there. Lois Lane, number 128. Of course, this has been used in several, you know, panels and covers and T-shirts. The famous, you know, Supergirl, Death of Supergirl type of thing later on in the 80s. But this is one right here, kind of the same pose. Lois Lane 133. Bondage cover right there. Again, I apologize for the glare. This is one of the higher graded books I got. This is around an 8. Happy with that one. This one made me laugh when I saw it. This is Lois Lane number 126, 20 center from 1972. Just the way the girls were hugging up on that clown right there. I just thought that was real funny. And then the two girls here hugging. Of course, this being Pride Month, kind of falls in line with that. But I just like it because those girls hugging the clown. I thought that was funny here. Lois Lane 134, excuse me, and this is really, really nice. I know the Mylar is kind of reflecting off the light, but the colors on this are extremely vibrant, really exploding on that, really cool, really nice cover. So I'm going to buy something high grade like that, or, you know, something upper grade. Again, good price with an upper grade book, you're going to buy that. Next up, we have Luke Cage, number 24, first appearance, Black Goliath. Right there. I got this one. This is a 4.5 complete. Not great, but it is the first appearance of Black Goliath, and you know sooner or later they're going to use that character in a significant role and not just little, you know, pieces here and there. From 1973, Daredevil and the Black Widow, number 98. Again, not a high grade, but the cover presents very, very well. Really nice colors on that. But again, I'm a tough grader, and people come to appreciate that, I think. Another one, 1973, Daredevil, Black Widow, number 97. Again, 4.5 on this one, not a high grade, but presents very, very nicely. And again, there is going to be a market for this because the books are getting harder and harder to find. 20-cent books now are becoming very popular. Before it was the 10-cent, 12 centers. Then I went to 15, and now the 20 centers you can still find in relatively higher condition, but it's something that everybody wants to try to grab. So they're getting harder and harder to find. You have an opportunity to pick up some 20-cent books in high grade, pick them up and just put them away because they're only going to go up. Next up, Daredevil, number 66, 1970. There's that right there. And the last vintage book I picked up, it's a really nice book, upper grade. This is a near mint minus, a 9.2. This is Daredevil number 113. Got Gladiator on the cover, and this is the first appearance of a character called Deathstalker. Really nice color right there. Whites are white. The colors are vibrant. Really, really nice. Again, you're looking at it. This is a quarter book, but if you can pick it up at a good price, you're going to jump all over it. So I did that. I think I paid $15 for this book. And again, they're getting harder and harder to find in this type of condition. So that was a no-brainer for me to pick that up. Finally, well, next up in our journey here, a couple of books that we talked about on this channel a while back are now starting to get a lot of attention, and especially the second and third prints on this first book. This, of course, from Boom Studios, Grimm, right here. We talked about this book on the channel before it came out. I've picked up a lot of copies of number 1. I really like the story so far. I read the first 2 issues, really, really like it. And you look at this book, and this is something that can actually do something, not so much a movie, but more of a TV show. You could probably get, 2 or 3 seasons out of this, but the concept is really good. The storyline is really good. And people are starting to get a little bit of, lukewarm heat on it. Of course, the second print, third prints are going for like $20 to $25. First print's always going to be where it is. That's just the way it is. It's going to be a good book. And even if it doesn't explode, you're still looking at a book that you're going to be able to get $10 to $15 for down the road, I think, and pretty consistently, because I think it's just a really cool book. There's that right there, Grimm, number 1. There's multiple covers on this one here. I have a bunch of the covers. I just wanted to show you one of the books. And the second book we're going to talk about, which we talked about on this channel, but now more and more people are talking about it because they're realizing it is a really good storyline and definitely something that can be done for television. And that is from Aftershock. That's The Naughty List. Right here, we talked about this book. I know, a well-known YouTube guy who always kind of jumps on the stuff late, and then people jump all over it. Was all over this book, saying, it's a great story. It's got wow factor. It's got everything you look for in an independent book or just in a good comic book read. This was it. I read the first 2 covers, or the first 2 issues have come out, issues 1 and 2. Really good storyline. If you don't know the concept of it, basically it is a reluctant Santa Claus. He wished for, a way to help kids. They made him a Santa Claus. The only problem is he never ages, he never grows old, but the people around him, the reindeers, the elves, they do. And the naughty list is basically a list of just bad people that they have to take care of to make the world a better place. And so there it is. That's why you see kind of like that fireplace poker right there covered in blood. Really, really cool story. And again, you can definitely see one of these streaming services doing a television show on this, because it has everything that kind of falls in line with a really entertaining, storyline, kind of like The Punisher. If you get the right people do it, it can do something. And if it does, this book is going to jump up. So if you can find them, pick a couple up and just put them away, because again, it's something that I think is going to have a little bit of heat down the line. And for those of you who like to flip things right away, so there was that. And again, we talked about that a couple of months ago before it even came out, about, both those books, Grimm and Naughty List, were a couple of books that I was looking forward to because they kind of fell right into the line of the things that I like. And sure enough, it's starting to get a little bit of action. People are trying to compare Grimm to Something's Killing the Children. There's never going to be another Something's Killing the Children. But Grimm is really good in its own right. There are some similarities with the female, the female main character. A lot of the covers from the first issue were kind of, mirrors of the Something's Killing the Children covers when they came out. So don't buy the book thinking it's going to be a Something's Killing the Children. But again, if they do something with it, that's a book that can be consistently in that $10, $15, $20 range for the first issues. And if you're able to grab them, because a lot of the print run books, like I said, are already selling in that $20 to $30 range for that. So there is that. So that's what we have on that there. And I asked some viewers. So I get messages all the time where people are like, show some books. Oh, before we show the older books, I did get a question from a viewer, and I've got this question a few times, is that when I go buy a collection or I go buy some books, what is my thought process? Well, the thought process is easy. If I'm buying a stack of books from somebody, I'm looking at number one, if there's any high value books or key books. And if there are, then you break it down based off of, what that particular book is going to be worth. And if the other books have any type of value, because a lot of times you're going to buy, a person's going to bring you some books and you might have 25, 30, 40 books that you're buying. And there might only be one or two, nice books in there that are going to flip real easy. So then you have to break it down. If I can get X amount of money for these 2 books, what can I get for these books? And you got to make a little bit of a profit on that. I know a lot of people like to say they want to make, they only want to go 25%. If it's a big key, you're not going to get those for 25%. I know a lot of people now are paying, depending on the key issue, are paying upwards of 50, 60 to 70% value for a key issue because they know they're going to get their money back and it's something that's going to sell really big. So when I go buy a collection or I go buy some books, I'll go through and look at all the books, and then I will see, basically in my head what the monetary value is going to be. So if I look at a collection and I say, okay, I can make $300 on that collection, do I want to pay $125, $100 for it, triple my money? If they're older books, early bronze, maybe some silver, then you're going to up that value a little bit, or at least I'm going to up that value a little bit, because again, there is a hunt for those books and you're going to have to pay for those books. Now, the difference is, are they beat up books or are they high condition books or even mid upper grade for older books? And if it's mid upper grade, then you're going to have to pay a little bit more. But I'm not trying to make a certain profit on every single book. I'm trying to make a profit on the entire purchase. So if if there's only maybe 5 or 6 books in a group of 40 that I might make money on, you may have to dump some of the other books cheap or just get rid of them. So make sure that you're looking at the keyer books, or the books that you're going to get more money for, and then break your price point down on that. Again, if you're buying huge collections, real big collections, then you have to kind of break it down almost by box. I'll pay X amount of money per box if you're going through the books, and it's a lot of filler stuff. Because right now, a lot of the collections that are out there is a lot of stuff, late 80s, 90s stuff, which has value because those books are getting popular now, because the people who collected those books as kids in the 90s are now adults who have money, and they're able to purchase stuff that reminds them of their childhood, just like a lot of us that are my age who bought books in the 70s are doing the same thing. You buy books that bring back good memories. So there was, that's kind of how it works. But again, I will look at the value as a complete collection. So if I pay $100 and I sell one book for $200, I've doubled my money. It doesn't matter what the other books are worth, in my opinion. I'm not trying to gouge people. I'm just trying to get my money back plus a little bit more. If you can double your money, that's pretty much what you want to do. You want to try to double your money, unless you're buying a high key book like a, Incredible Hulk 181 that you can pay, if it's in a mid grade and you're going to pay $3,500 and sell it for $5,500, in a couple of days you're making a $2,000 profit on that. You can do it that way. So again, that's how I do it. I can touch bases on that a little bit more detail if you want, but that's pretty much what it is. I look at the collection as a whole, what I think I'm going to be able to get for it, and then try to break it down from there. And I don't have a problem explaining that to sellers, kind of showing them, because a lot of sellers are going to look at a book that, you're looking at like this Daredevil book, and it might be, in their eyes, in the price guide, it says it's $100 book, but they're looking at the higher end. They may think that, but you got to start now breaking down certain books and say, unfortunately, it has this, 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 and this. It might be a Marvel stamp missing. If you explain it to them, if you explain it to, uneducated sellers, maybe someone, gets a collection of books from someone who, unfortunately maybe passed away, or you get a lot of people who buy these storage units and get stuff like that. If you explain it to them and they don't really have an understanding, they will understand that, and they will appreciate the fact that you're giving them that information, and then you try to work a deal out for that. So there was that. I hope that kind of explains kind of a real quick brush over kind of the, just that's kind of how I do it, and that's what I look for. So there's that. Now, I've been showing a lot of graded books, pre-code stuff that I've gotten graded because, contrary to what everybody says, I am not a big fan of grading, but what I am a fan of is preserving pre-code books in the highest possible condition, because old paper breaks down, and the more you handle it, the more it's unprotected, the more chance you have of damaging a already, lower grade book even more. And, we want to try to keep those, historic, anything pre-code to me is historic. It has got historical value, things like that. People look at it as pre-code. I look at it as you find a book from 1941, that's pretty much pre-World War II. To me, that's got some historical value. So I'm going to show you some of the books. The first two, well, the first one isn't a, older book, but it is a very popular book. I get a lot of requests to see this book. I showed it once before. This is Incredible Hulk 340. This is the direct edition. And of course, this is the famous Todd McFarlane Hulk cover with Wolverine. 9.6 right there. Lots of glare. Real hard to get that. There are some, you see very few 9.8s. You see a few 9.6s, but a lot of like in the 9.2, 8.5 range for this. Really popular book. I was very happy when that grade came back like that. The next one I have, is Fear number 24. This was the first vampire book I had ever purchased. Now, this was a book that I had bought, when I was a kid, because I love vampires, I love the monsters, and I bought this one here, and this came back 9.6, white pages, and for this book, that is a fantastic grade. This book here is from 1974, and it has a cover by Gil Kane and John Romita, which already, makes it amazing. And just a really cool cover. Girl in distress, Blade fighting off the, the vampire Morbius coming in. So there's that there. Really nice book. And now we will go from the pre-code books, and this is going to be from the most recent to the oldest. So the first one up, Crime Suspense Stories from EC Comics, August 1954, just prior to the pre-code. This is right there. This is the famous cover. And again, there's like a Mylar on this, and so I apologize for the glare. Let me try something here. Hold on. Let me see if this works. No, not really. So I'll put this back on. Boom. Give me 1 second. So there's that right there. Crime Suspense Stories. Again, I apologize for the glare. 4.0. Really happy with that grade. Anything EC, especially horror EC, you get something 4.0, 4.5, maybe a 5, you're doing really well. Next up, the most recent edition of the book I got back, Adventures into the Unknown, number 27. This is from January 1952. Right there. There's that great cover. And the thing I like about this book right here, white pages. You get a book from 1952 with white pages. You got something there. The book's this old, as long as it doesn't say brittle and it's white, off-white, you should be very happy with that. But again, I apologize for the glare on that. Beautiful, beautiful book. Next up, this is Cream to Off-White pages. This is from April 1949, Jumbo Comics number 122. 6.0. Very happy with that. Steve Canyon number 6. This is Cream to Off-White from December 1948. This is the last issue and the first appearance of Madam Lynx, which is the female right there. Again, the glare is really bad, but this is an 8.0. An 8.0. Really, really nice book. Very happy to get that book right there. We talked about this next book a few times because, again, not here to offend anybody, but, things were not basically politically correct. This is The Spirit number 8. This is from 1947. This is off-white to white. 4.5. And again, the way they depicted the little boy right there is very, very offensive to a lot of people. But again, historically, during this time frame, that's kind of what it was. Kind of reminds me of a possible Buckwheat character from Little Rascals. One of my all-time favorite books right here, Headline Comics number 25 from July 1947. This is early early Joe Simon and Jack Kirby cover and art. This is a 6.0. This is what they call the suicide, the murder cover. He's got putting the gun in his hand. He's already been shot in the head, so you know what happened there. Again, sorry for the glare, but a 6.0, really, really nice. And this is White Pages, another one from 1947 with white pages. Again, you get very lucky with that. Crack Comics number 42 from May 1946, Off-White to White. 8.5. Really, really nice book right there. Really nice book. This one has a little bit of historical precedence right here. It is a bondage cover. This is Boy Comics number 24 from October 1945. Creamed off-white pages, but there is a concentration camp story in this storyline right here. Of course, this is right after World War II and the atrocities that were witnessed during that time. So they did a concentration camp story here. But again, a bondage cover and a 6.0 on that. Really, really good grade for that book, for a book that old. Next up, from November 1945. Well, I guess this is a little bit later than the last one. This is Jungle Comics number 1. This is a bondage cover. There is also a panel with a topless woman in it, which for this time, remember, this is 1945, wasn't something that was, overly popular at that time. They called this Slightly Brittle, 3.5. But again, really, really nice cover right there. And, again, it's 1945. So the fact that you have a book that's slightly brittle compared to the other ones I showed you that had no brittleness is absolutely amazing. And the oldest book we're going to show right now, this is Super Magician Comics number 5 from May 1942, Off-White to White, a 4.5. We've talked about this. If a little boy saw that book with, the girl, the big tiger, the snake, the magician shooting lightning, that kid was going to beg his mother to get him that book. So again, 4.5, off-white to white pages, I believe I said, yes. And there was that there. So again, sorry for the glare on that. And these are kind of the books that we had. Oh, the last one I'm going to show is a gift. It was a gift from my friend Barney, a private collection book. Never going to go anywhere like these other ones. Never going to go anywhere. This is House of Secrets number 92, of course, the first appearance of Swamp Thing. And this was graded a 2.5. But the significance of the book is that it is signed by Bernie Wrightson. You can kind of see a little bit of the signature right there. Again, I do apologize for the glare, but it is a gold label book. Grade didn't matter to me on this book. I didn't care about the grade. It was a gift, which I appreciated, and it's signed by the great Bernie Wrightson. You know how we feel about Bernie on this channel. A significant part of the private collection here. And I think finally, I'll show you one last book because I always want to show this book here. The book that got it all started for me, Blitzkrieg number 1. Again, a gift from my friend Rob, who got me this book right here. 9.4, Blitzkrieg number 1. Very hard book to find in high grade condition. If you don't believe me, look, I think there's a 9.6 online right now. But again, really, really nice book. Another private collection book that, brings back tremendous memories for me. This was the book that got me started in looking forward to the next issues coming out in a comic book, at the 7-Eleven, so I can get the next issue of Blitzkrieg. So there was that. So again, we covered a lot of stuff today. It was a real long video. I hope you enjoyed those. Again, I do apologize for the glare because, these are books that you really want to take a good look at. I love these books. They're going to keep a special place in my, personal collection because they're just hard to find. You don't find these books already. I'm hoping in a couple of weeks to show you a couple of new books in the process of, hopefully trying to work a deal to get a couple of, newer pre-code books to the collection. But it's going to take a little bit of time for everything to work out, but we'll keep our fingers crossed on this channel. Again, I will have more information on upcoming shows. If you want to come out and, see the next show that I'll be at and pick up some books or just come by and say hello, it'd be greatly appreciated. If you're a subscriber to this channel, thank you very much. If you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button, hit the bell so you get notifications when the new videos come out. If you know somebody who might like the channel, let them know about it. I would love to, build this channel up, as much as I can, because I do get a lot of enjoyment doing these videos. So I hope you like that. And again, remember, Naughty List, if you can find it. Grimm, #1, if you can find it. I just think that there's something going to be behind that, one or two of them. But again, Naughty List would be my pick for the book that's probably going to do something. But Grimm is a fantastic story. So that's pretty much all we have right now. So I hope you liked the video. But as always, if you didn't, nothing I can do for you. Have a great, great day. Happy hunting. And leave some comments down there. Let me know what you'd like to discuss. And I'll see you real soon.